This podcast is generated by AI from the most interesting articles selected by the AI Security Foundation experts. Welcome to the deep dive. If you're trying to keep up with, well, just the sheer speed and the really profound contradictions of this whole AI revolution, you're definitely in the right place today. We've got a fascinating set of sources here that paint quite a stark picture. AI is simultaneously creating these incredibly sophisticated security threats, maybe the worst we've seen, and at the same time delivering these truly life-changing benefits for people.
It's an intense duality, isn't it? I mean, on one side, you've got attacks scaling up massively, billions of records stolen, global cyber-espionage. It's serious stuff. But then you look at another source, and that exact same underlying tech is being used for just incredible, human-focused innovation. What our sources really hammer home is how fast both sides are moving, the innovation curve and the threat surface. They're both just exploding upwards.
Yeah, exactly. So today we've picked out 5 stories that really capture this whole picture. We'll go from, billion record thefts and state-sponsored AI infiltration, all the way to saving someone's voice with just an 8-second clip from an old VHS tape. Our mission here is to unpack these 5 key areas pretty quickly, see where AI is really shaking things up the fastest. So let's jump right in. We should probably start with the damage is biggest, right? Looking at those weak links in corporate security. #Hedge the weakest link, massive data breach via SaaS integrations.
Yeah.
Okay, so when we talk about data theft, the scale of this alleged ShinyHunters breach is just staggering. They're claiming over 1.5 billion records stolen. Think about that.
Wow.
Impacting somewhere around 760 different companies. I mean, that's an operational nightmare. And the way they did it, that's what should be keeping security teams awake at night.
Right. It wasn't your, standard old school brute force hack or anything. This group, ShinyHunters, apparently working with others like Scattered Spider and Lapsus, they didn't bother guessing passwords. They went straight for Salesloft Drift Oath tokens and used a mix of, social engineering.
The human element.
Exactly. Plus malicious OAuth applications to basically trick their way into Salesforce instances.
Okay, let's pause on that term for a sec because it's really central here. OAuth tokens. Most people get passwords. What is an oath token, and why is losing one so much worse than, say, losing a login?
Okay, think of it like this. A password is like your house key. It gets you in the front door, right? An oath token, that's more like giving someone power of attorney, but for your digital stuff. When you use a third-party app, maybe click Sign in with Google or something similar, you're often issuing an OAuth token behind the scenes. That token gives the third-party app permission to act as you, to access your data via APIs, often with really broad permissions.
And critically, without needing your password again and again.
Precisely. So when that token gets compromised, the attackers don't just get simple access like a password might give. They get delegated authority, operational control potentially.
Which is how, according to the sources, they could then get into the Salesforce systems of all those companies, 760 of them, and just pull out mountains of data.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just customer data live in the system, was it? They apparently also got into Salesloft's own GitHub source code.
Yeah, and that's another critical detail. They reportedly use tools like TruffleHog.
TruffleHog. Sounds interesting. What does it do?
Think of it as a digital bloodhound, basically. It sniffs through code repositories looking for secrets, API keys, credentials, stuff developers accidentally leave buried in the code.
Ouch. So finding keys left lying around in the code itself.
Exactly. It's surprisingly common.
So the big takeaway here, the so what, isn't just the sheer volume of data. It's pointing to a systemic vulnerability, right? We've built this huge interconnected world of software, these SaaS integrations, where linking everything together for convenience has actually created a massive weak spot.
That's it, precisely. This whole incident is a massive wake-up call. Corporate security has to shift focus. It's not just about managing user passwords anymore. It's about managing API relationships. It's about auditing those integrations constantly.
Because the weakest link isn't necessarily the person clicking a phishing email anymore.
Often, no. It could easily be that third-party tool you integrated 5 years ago and haven't really checked on since. You need rigorous processes for auditing these API connections, managing token lifecycles. Basically, treat every single integration as a potential door into your systems, because frankly, it often grants deeper access than any single employee's password. #tag generative AI as an espionage tool.
Okay, that idea of exploiting system connections leads us neatly into the next area. While groups like ShinyHunters are after money, we're seeing nation-states using very similar tech generative AI for much more covert stuff. Espionage, identity fraud. It feels like we've entered a pretty chilling new phase of AI being weaponized.
What's really striking is just how quickly and, well, audaciously they're misusing it. The sources point to specific, state-backed campaigns where AI gives them a significant leg up in trying to infiltrate targets. Take the North Korean group, Kimsuki. The report says they used ChatGPT specifically to generate fake drafts of South Korean military IDs.
Wow. Not for widespread fraud then, but for very targeted attacks.
Exactly. For precision spear phishing aimed likely at defense officials or related personnel. Highly targeted.
And it gets deeper than just fake IDs, doesn't it? Kimsuki apparently used Anthropic's Claude, too.
Yes, and this is quite sophisticated. They used Claude to generate bogus resumes. These weren't just any resumes, they were tailored to pass automated screening systems and even coding tests.
What's the end game there?
The goal seems to be securing remote employment at U.S. tech companies. Think about that, getting an operative hired, gaining insider access remotely. It's a long-game strategy powered by AI that can craft a convincing professional persona.
And it's not just Kimsuki. The sources mention Chinese actors as well.
Right. They've reportedly been using models like Claude, ChatGPT, and Google's Gemini almost, like technical assistants or co-pilots for espionage. Using GenAI for things like generating code, crafting social manipulation scripts, and quickly researching targets, including defense-related systems.
So the big security challenge here is that GenAI lowers the bar, right? Even less skilled actors can now produce forgeries, documents, profiles that look incredibly convincing, things that used to require serious resources and expertise.
Absolutely. And here's a really critical point from the sources. These actors are finding ways to get around the built-in safety features of these AI models through careful prompt design. Basically, they're learning how to talk to the AI in ways that bypass the guardrails, tricking it into producing the malicious content they want. They seem to be learning faster than the companies can update the protections.
That's concerning. If the main defense is prompt engineering by the bad guys versus safety engineering by the good guys.
It becomes an arms race, doesn't it? Between model capability and moderation capability. If making the models safer means making them less capable, that undermines their whole purpose. It's a real tension.
So what's the answer then? Better detection.
That's part of it, but it highlights an urgent need for much, much better identity verification systems that can actually withstand sophisticated AI-powered deepfakes and forgeries. That's becoming critical. Hashtag the danger of rushing AI-powered browsers.
Okay, let's shift from nation states back to the consumer world for a moment. Because this rush to embed AI into everything is creating new problems there, too. We're looking at products like Perplexity's AI-powered Comet browser. It's marketed as this premium, cutting-edge tool, costs $20 a month.
Right, billed as the future of browsing. But independent security audits found some issues. Both Brave, the browser company, and Guardio Security took a close look and raised some pretty significant flags about its security hardening.
Okay, what was the main problem they found?
It really boils down to prompt injection exploits in those core AI features.
Prompt injection. Can you break that down for us? How does that work inside a browser?
Sure. Imagine the AI feature in your browser is trying to summarize a web page for you.
Right.
That's its job. But what if a malicious ad, or maybe some hidden text on that page, contains secret instructions for the AI, not for you, the user?
Like a hidden message just for the AI.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like you're talking to your helpful AI assistant, but someone else, a hacker, has whispered a hidden command on the side. A command like, hey, grab the user's saved passwords or run this malicious script. And because the AI is integrated into the browser, it might just execute those instructions within that trusted browser environment.
Whoa. So that bypasses a lot of this standard security layers we rely on in normal browsers.
It certainly can, yeah. It creates new attack vectors. By wrapping these complex, sometimes still experimental AI features around the core functions of browsing, you potentially open the door to risks like phishing scams, stealing credentials, injecting malicious code, things that standard browsers have spent years building defenses against, but might be vulnerable to in new ways via the AI layer.
And the auditors felt the protections weren't quite there yet for Comet.
Their conclusion seemed to be that, despite the premium price, the safeguards against these AI-specific exploits needed more work. They weren't sufficiently hardened.
Okay, so the immediate takeaway for you listening is probably caution, right? The convenience of an AI-first browser needs to be balanced against the fact that the security might still be experimental.
Absolutely. I think the Comet situation is a good example of the potential dangers when AI-first products are rushed to market without really extensive independent security testing and hardening. Until vendors really lock down these prompt injection vulnerabilities, maybe through rigorous red teaming and patching, It's probably wise to treat these AI browsers as interesting experiments, not necessarily as your trusted everyday browser just yet. Hashtag the transformative good restoring human identity.
Okay, we spent a fair bit of time on the darker side, the risks and threats, but this is where that duality of AI really comes into focus. Let's pivot completely. We're moving from AI being used to forge identity for espionage to AI being used to restore identity for just profound human good.
Yes, this is a really powerful shift. We're looking at the ElevenLabs Impact Program. Their focus is specifically on assistive technology, particularly voice reclamation, for people who've lost their ability to speak maybe due to conditions like ALS or injury or severe illness. Losing their unique voice is, well, it's losing a fundamental part of who they are, their identity, their dignity.
And the tech accomplishment here is incredible, but the human impact is just, wow. The sources highlight this amazing example of a user named Sarah. Her voice was recovered. Get this. Using only 8 seconds of old audio.
8 seconds.
From a VHS tape. An old analog home video provided enough data.
Think about that contrast for a moment. A clunky old VHS tape feeding into cutting-edge generative AI, and that tiny fragment was enough to recreate her authentic digital voice.
Which she can then use how?
That recovered voice can be integrated with assistive communication devices, like smartbox systems. So she can communicate again naturally in her own voice, with her own unique inflections and personality shining through.
That's just amazing. It's AI literally giving someone their voice back.
It really is AI as a tool for healing. It's not just about efficiency or automation. This restores dignity, connection. It impacts mental health profoundly.
It really sets a benchmark for the positive side, doesn't it? When this tech is used ethically, compassionately, it can genuinely restore something fundamentally human. Hashtag setting the new standard for consumer creativity. Okay, let's carry that positive momentum into our final area, the consumer market. Here, AI is breaking down barriers again, but this time in creative fields, making complex tools accessible to everyone. The latest big splash setting a new standard here seems to be from Google. It's Google Gemini 2.5, which got the nickname Nano Banana.
Hey, Nano Banana. It's catchy. And this model is all about making sophisticated image editing intuitive. Think about tasks that used to require real skill in something like Photoshop, realistically changing someone's clothes in a photo, applying a completely different artistic style, seamlessly blending elements from multiple photos. For the average person, trying that usually ended up looking, well, pretty bad. Distorted, inconsistent, uncanny.
Right, the lighting would be off, or the person suddenly wouldn't quite look like themselves anymore. That's the key thing Nano Banana tackles, isn't it? Visual consistency.
Exactly. That's its reported strength, performing these complex, realistic edits while making sure everything still looks right. People, animals, objects, they remain consistent across the edits. The lighting matches, the textures feel real. The person still looks like the same person, even if their shirt changes completely.
So AI is basically solving that final hurdle in easy image manipulation, maintaining photorealistic consistency without needing expert skills.
That's a great way to put it. It removes that expertise barrier. Before, you could maybe swap a background easily, but editing the main subject convincingly, much harder. This model seems to crack that.
And judging by the numbers, people loved it. It came out August 26th, 2025. And by September 12th, just a couple of weeks later, it hit #1 in the U.S. App Store.
That's fast.
The adoption metrics are wild. 23 million new users apparently jumped on board, uploading over 500 million images in that short time.
Wow, 500 million images. Those numbers really tell a story. It confirms this isn't just some tech demo or gimmick. It's fulfilling a real user need, making creative expression much more accessible. Nano Banana really exemplifies how AI can empower potentially millions of people who don't have technical design skills. It sets a completely new benchmark for what users expect in terms of ease of use and power in consumer creative apps. Hashtag outro. And
So, looking back at the ground we've covered, it's quite a journey, isn't it? We started with ShinyHunters using compromised OAuth tokens to steal billions of records, moved to nation-states forging military IDs and resumes with generative AI, then saw the dangers in rushing AI browsers, but then pivoted to AI restoring a human voice from an old VHS tape, and ended with AI empowering millions to become creators with tools like Nano Banana.
it really underscores that core message. The incredible speed, but also the profound duality of this technology. We're dealing with capabilities that are, at their heart, morally neutral. They can be weaponized for immense harm or harnessed for incredible good. The exact same foundational tech that can forge identities for espionage, like Kinsuki did, is also capable of restoring identity, restoring a voice, providing profound human benefit, like we saw with ElevenLabs using just 8 seconds of audio.
It really forces us into confronting a very complex near future, doesn't it? If AI is now good enough to both convincingly fake identity for malicious purposes and also authentically restore personal identity for genuine good, how ready are any of us, really, for a world where telling the difference between an authentic digital voice or image and a sophisticated malicious forgery becomes virtually impossible?
And that leaves a critical question hanging there for you, the listener. In this world where digital identity is becoming so fluid, so generative, what steps should you be taking? How do you manage, verify, and safeguard your own digital identity when the very concept is blurring so rapidly?
Definitely something to think about as you continue to explore the sources that inform this deep dive.